Hi, and welcome to the Health Begins with Mom show. I am Dorit Palvanov, your host. On this podcast, I will share insights and interviews on health, parenting, and explore the question of what does it take to thrive as women, wives, and mothers. Now, let's get going with today's episode. Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of the Health Begins with Mom podcast. This is Dorit Palvanov, your host. Just before I begin, I just want to remind you that all show notes for today's episode can be found over at my website, healthbeginswithmom.com/EP-31. And also want to remind everybody that I am accepting applications to the Thrive Mastermind for Conscious Mothers who are raising girls. And I'll link up to that as well in the show notes below. All right, so let's dive into today's episode. So today I wanted to talk to you about the time when I first became a mom. And I remember I was so super motivated and excited, full of stamina and grit. And I've put all of myself into mothering and parenting. And I think you can also relate to that. And then when baby number 2 came along, I kind of got the hang of it all. And I realized that this is not exactly what I've envisioned what I've envisioned it to be in the beginning. So things like rest, fun, and true joy were pushed to the side, and the responsible me kicked in to do the work, whether it is parenting my kids or my day-to-day job. But what happens when you work at a place that drains and sucks the life out of you? If you're surrounded by negativity, drama, and small talk all day long, or if you realize that you do the work that is not inspiring or really important in the world. Or what if you have a soul ache that calls you to explore more of yourself, try something new, and find your true purpose? And on top of all that, every day you come back home to crying babies, needy kids, homework, dishes, laundry, and a husband with his own needs. How do you think this woman would show up in her life as a mother? Will she enjoy her children? Will she be able to see them for who they truly are without projecting her own discomfort onto them? And how would this woman show up in her marriage? Will she be able to enjoy her sex life, explore more of her sensuality and body with her partner? How will she show up in her life? Happy and joyful, or bitter and miserable? So for most of us, this looks like overwhelm, chronic stress, and we feel like we want out every single day. Some of us even regret we did this to ourselves in the first place. It's hard, it's challenging, uninspiring, boring, and soul-sucking. So many women I work with feel like they have to suck it up, put their big girl's pants on, and keep going. They must do what they need to do, wait it out, and then 18 years later, maybe things will change. Sometimes this becomes really dangerous, as this void in the soul is literally manifested as disease in the body. And none of us wants that, of course. But what do you do? How do you change? Can you change? I think the first thing we must realize is that this is a choice. Every day is a choice. And you deserve this. You are worthy of it, and you are enough. You can either live your life on autopilot or choose to seek out ways to thrive as a woman, wife, and a mother. And this is exactly what we are exploring together on this podcast and in the Thrive Mastermind for Conscious Mothers. So I encourage you to check that out. And as I mentioned, the link will be in the show notes below. Today, I have a fun interview for you with two mamas, Liat and Carolina, co-creators of the Momjo movement, which is all about inspiring, empowering, motivating, and entertaining moms. They both have 3 kids like myself, and I love their fun, honest, and vulnerable YouTube videos targeted at moms like you and I, calling us to embrace our passions, curiosity, and individuality. I love their style, humor, vulnerability, and glow, but most of all, I love the fact that they are my neighbors and I actually got to hang out with them once in the playground with our kids. So cool to be able to hug these women in person. Just heads up, I wanted to let you know that we did have some sound issues throughout the entire interview, but this conversation was so juicy. I really didn't want you to miss out on this, and hopefully you'll be able to still get a lot of value from it. I'm super excited about this interview, as you can tell from my voice. So without further ado, here's my interview with Liat and Carolina.
Thank you. Hello, neighborina. How's it going?
Good. Okay, so since this podcast is for moms, what are you loving about being a mother right now?
What do you love, Liat? Start us off. What do
I love? I love
Did
the
you hear
sigh.
that long
I love
sigh?
the sigh. Yes,
Did you hear that?
I love it.
I'm thinking, where do I start? And B, I'm thinking, what do I love and what am I not going to vent about straight out? What I actually really love and what I focused on this weekend was looking at the three of my kids together when they are alone together, sort of playing or bonding or talking to each other, especially the two older boys when they have some discussions. And I look at how they're interacting together. That simply warms my heart.
Aww,
yeah, I would say that's been my favorite moment as of late.
That is beautiful. I am currently a big sucker for toddler hugs and kisses and drooly kisses. Like the fact that I can just open up my arms wide and see my 1.5-year-old run towards me with that big smile on his face, and his arms also open towards me and just giving me a hug and kissing me, and
can't get it.
I can't get enough.
Can't get enough.
I just can't get enough.
And they will keep giving at this age, which is amazing.
Yes. How old are your kids?
Okay, mine are nearly 7, 5, and 1.5.
I have 1.5-year-old, 4.5-year-old, and 7.5-year-old, and they're all and a half, right?
Yeah.
Like exactly.
So we're kind of in the same phases. Like our kids are around the same age, especially our third kids. They were born 3 weeks apart.
Yeah.
Oh.
So they hang out every day together, and that's part of how this Momjo journey actually came about, because we were on mat leave together.
Okay. Yeah, we're going to get into that a little bit later. My kids are very similar ages. I have an 8-year-old, 6-year-old, and she's 1 and 4 months old.
Oh, so you're right there with us.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. That's why I relate to your message so much.
We share the struggle.
Yeah. Okay. So I've been, as you guys know, I've been following you pretty much from the beginning. How long have you been doing this? For about a year or so?
Doing this, for a year. Like at the end of the month, October 31st.
Yeah, Halloween.
Yeah, Halloween, right. Our first video was about Halloween and about giving kids candy. So in about a week's time, we are going to be 1 year old.
We are turning 1. It's our Momjo-versary next week, Tuesday.
We're almost toddlers.
That's so cool. So I want to know why. Why did you decide to start this movement?
Okay, so I'll take this one. It's usually my go-to answer. As I said, Carolina and I were working out in the gym, and anyone that will ever listen to me, I will talk about the fact that I have a great day job, but there was always something missing, and I always wanted to find that something, that thing that would make me feel fulfilled, like you were talking about in the beginning. Mm-hmm. And Carolina totally got it. She was in agreement and
on the same boat.
Totally in the same boat. And very quickly spiraled into talking about a YouTube channel. It was like the go-to next obvious thing that we wanted to do together. It was just obvious, and it had to be together, and it had to be about this topic. Right. We didn't discuss anything else, and the concept of Momjo was born because it was women that, alongside motherhood, wanted to get fulfillment and sort of rediscover their mojo. So that's where the Mojo turned to Momjo.
And people still love this, right? They're still like, what is Momjo? Is it Mama Joe? We're like, no, we're putting Mojo into mom.
Jody.
So why do you think it's important for moms to find their Momjo?
Oh, because if you want to, I think the answer is very simple, right? Motherhood is a beautiful source of happiness and fulfillment for many of us. But we don't think you can be fully embracing of joy in your life unless you feel like the whole package, right? And being a mom is a dimension of who we are. Momjo is about that extra bit. It's about embracing your motherhood, experience, right? But bringing in things that really give you that extra oomph, that make you extra excited
that
every
essence,
day.
that the thing that was there before the children were there that made you excited about life. So whether it was like a hobby or a passion that you had, or even your career or whatever it is, like we often have to put those things aside when we have children because we focus so much on them and then we forget about them. So what happened to that hobby that we used to do all our lives, or what happened to that dream of starting your own business or things like that? So as our goal is kind of get ourselves on that journey to find our own personal Momjo. It just happened to be this platform of making videos, and that's how we found it, or are finding it. And we wanted to help other moms along the way, just to inspire them, to motivate them, to empower them, and hopefully to entertain them.
Yeah.
Totally. So like happy mom, happy family, right?
Yes. My this podcast is called Health Begins with Mom, because I mean health is a big word, and it represents all of the aspects of life, really. So I totally agree with you guys, totally. So as I mentioned in the intro, both of you have 3 kids, and I'm curious to know how your days look like. Can you give us a sneak peek into a day in your lives? How do you create harmony in your lives? How does this look for you?
That's
harmony.
It's a great question. Yeah,
Does
harmony
exist?
You know what? I'm gonna before thinking of this question, I thought, okay, I'm just gonna ask them about work-life balance, but then I think work-life balance is bullshit. There's no such thing.
There's no such thing. No.
And instead, and by the way, I created a full episode about that. It's episode number 2 of the podcast, and it's all about cultivating harmony in our lives. So that's why I've chosen to ask you about harmony instead of balance. But go ahead.
So I would say for me that it's not just actually for me. We've discussed this before. It's about creating a support system that enables us to make this happen. And so we each have our little bits, whether it's extended family or husbands or babysitters or nannies. Like we've each managed to set up a situation for ourselves that allows for if we need to go downtown for a meeting in the evening, or do Momjo Live on a Wednesday night, every Wednesday night, or film on the weekend. Like often we have to say to our husbands, we're really sorry, we need 2 hours on a Saturday. And it's not ideal, but they get it. And they, thank goodness, support us and help us through this. And then, just like getting a bit of help.
Yeah, no, and I think we're not afraid to ask for help, right? I think at a lot of moms like us can be very proud when it comes to asking for somebody else to pitch in, but like the saying says, it takes a village to raise a child, and it takes a village to make a mom happy and fulfilled, right? You can't just do it on your own when you have 3 children, right, tailing behind you, who you love, but sometimes you just need a little bit of time away from, right? So, yes, so there's that. There's asking for help, and there's also fostering understanding within your family, right? Setting out the expectations, especially with your couple and your partner, right? When you want to create harmony in the way you're running your life in order to make your dreams come true and to work and to be productive, you have to set out very clear expectations of what's going to be needed, from your family.
And our kids, especially the 2 older ones, like they know when we say we bring this for Momjo, or we have a call for Momjo, or we're doing a video for Momjo, like they seem to understand it because we've been so open about it from the beginning that this is part of our job. And the other angle is that both of us have day jobs.
Yes.
And we have been incredibly transparent about what we're doing on the side in our day jobs. Because first of all, we're on social media, so there's no way to hide it. And why hide it if it will cause stress for us. And as you say, stress is not healthy. So we don't hide it. Like we have to take days off from work, vacation days. Yeah. We have to juggle our hours so that if we had to take a meeting, like for example now, we will make sure that our work is up to date and that nothing gets left behind. So I guess it's a sense of responsibility that we're at that point in our lives where we can manage it, and we're at that point in our careers that our managers and companies actually very much appreciate what we're doing over and above the job that we're doing for them. They're like very, very supportive, thank goodness.
So your Monday videos, I love them. They really brighten my days. I love the style, the humor, the honesty, and how real you are in your videos. And I want to know, how do you come up with the topics for your videos and Facebook Lives?
So with our videos, with our Momjo Mondays, we actually have, how can I say this? We have very busy days. And because we have day jobs, we often find ourselves struggling a bit with coming up with ideas and concepts, right?
In advance,
right? So we're last minute people. We tend to come up with a few ideas, every so often, every couple of weeks. We have like 2 or 3 ideas.
We have like a list. We have like a list written down somewhere.
Yeah. Right. And then we usually get around 2 days.
Yeah.
So we come up with a topic, we film it the next day, and how long they were editing.
For example, for this week, we had an idea in mind. We had spoken about it on Friday. And then on Sunday, when we were going to film, before that, we had to go for a run because now we're training for a race, which is on Sunday. Did you know that?
Yeah. We were running 10Ks on
We
Sunday.
nearly forgot. The point is that we were out on our run. We were filming it later on. We had the topic in mind, but one of us had thought up a different topic just based on something that was going on in our minds and in our personal lives literally that morning. And we spoke about it on our run for about 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Banged out like some ideas and decided, right, that's our topic, done. And then we got together a bit later on, filmed it within an hour, and that was that.
I love it. And I think what makes it a little bit maybe somewhat easier is the fact that there's both of you, in front of the camera as opposed to just one of you. Yeah. Okay, so what's next for you? Where do you see Momjo going in the future?
That's a great question, and we get asked that all the time.
Yes.
We have a lot of ideas, Dorette, to be honest. We have a lot of ideas. We have a lot of dreams, some that are more short-term, some that are long-term. But really, and I'm not even just saying this to be cliched, like we constantly say to each other, like as long as we are having the time of our lives, we are having so much fun, we are just going to continue on this journey wherever it might take us.
And we're going to continue to pursue it as long as we feel like we are lifting up the days of Moms Just Ahead.
Exactly. So by creating videos and partnering up with whoever it is out there that wants to share in this message and spread some fun and joy and motivation to other moms out in the world.
I love that. I love that. All right. So I have 5 questions I ask all of my guests. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Sure.
All right. Okay. So question number 1. This show is all about inspiring moms to thrive as women and mothers. And I like to call it being a goddess in your life. So I'm curious to know, how are you showing up as goddesses in your own lives? How do you take care of yourselves, your soul, your body? What are some of your non-negotiables?
Food. Food. We love to eat, both of us. We're big foodies. We love to go to restaurants. We love to try new things. We love to cook, and we love to feed our friends and family.
Hosting people, right? Having people over and just making something really special.
And then when they say it's delicious, it's like, oh, it makes us feel good.
And I will say something that might be a little too personal, but I think my friend's starting to share it with me.
What is it?
Fashion and clothes.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Just like being able to pick up. I am like the queen of bargaining, right? I like very cheap little finds, right? That make me really happy.
You're really good at that.
So I do get joy out of that, and I do feel like a goddess when I go in and I find that very special little find, put it on, for like $1 million. And I feel like you're starting to.
For me, getting out and about and meeting new people and having different experiences, which we've been doing a lot with Momjo, has been really, really fulfilling in many ways. To just like get out of the routine of everyday life and just experience something a little bit new. And that's what Carolina and I have really loved about this process, that we are meeting the most interesting and unexpected people and experiences along the way.
I love that. So second question, what advice does your now mommy self would have given to your pre-mommy self?
Right. So what I would have told my sort of pre-mommy self is to not expect everything to be picture perfect, right? Not expect to look like a storybook. That motherhood is tough, and it's raw, and it's challenging, and it drives you to your very edge sometimes. and that I should accept it as such, right? To not have those crazy high expectations of perfection that are just so unrealistic.
Totally. I would say trust your instinct, like literally trust your instinct, even if you don't know anything about a topic, whether it's baby related or not. And trust in the process. Know that whatever you're looking for, you'll get there. It took me 18 years to find this. This journey that I found with Carolina, this process of Momjo and creating videos and just doing what we're doing, literally 18 years since I finished school, and finally found it. So I say, keep going, keep looking, keep trying things.
So third question, I like to keep it real and show listeners that even though someone is an expert in one area, they might be struggling with other things. So what are some of your current challenges as a woman, wife, or mother?
There's a long list.
I think definitely there's a huge list. We just wrote a blog about it, right? About the things that our children don't really know about us. So many internal struggles that we're always trying to surpass and sort of cope with. So I would say for me right now is time management.
100%, that mom guilt that comes with time management. Yeah.
Feeling like the children, the attention, time, and dedication that I could be giving to them.
100%.
I always feel like I could be doing more.
Yeah, that's absolutely. Even when it comes to simple things like reading with them, after school and trying to sit and do some extra work, or sitting and playing on the floor. Sitting down on the floor and playing
without looking at your phone.
Without looking, just random hangout time. I think we feel pretty bad about the fact that we don't do that as often as we'd like.
I don't know. I feel like with the younger one, I don't know. It's all three threshold that I used to have.
That's true. But then the middle one, don't you feel like the middle one just falls through the cracks?
There's always something.
There's just something. I would say the other thing is at this point, maintaining some sense of routine with regards to a healthy lifestyle. So when it comes to working out or eating, we're overall, I would say, relatively healthy, but we can't seem to find I can't seem to find a balance.
We seem to always be putting our fitness in the corner. We'll find any excuse, forego running or forego working out, right?
Yeah.
All you got to do is today.
That's for sure a challenge, and something that we really hold as very important long term for every woman, every person, every being.
Don't you feel like you're betraying your Momjo sort of mission?
Yes.
That's why we signed up for a 10K race, to give us some motivation.
All right, fourth question. What do you want your legacy to be? How do you want to be remembered?
Oh, well, I'll tell you this, that when people come up to us now, like how you did, and random people, strangers and people that we know, come up to us and say, "Oh, we love what you're doing with Momjo," or "It's so funny, your last video," or "That was really an important message. Thank you for sharing your story." That is exactly what we're doing this for, so that other people can either relate to what we're doing, live vicariously through us, or be motivated to make a slight little change in their day or in their life. So I would say if we could be remembered for that, and that's our legacy, sounds quite good to me.
On a bit of a light, right?
Make people think a little differently. For example, if you get invited, you see an event that's going on, or something or a show that you wanted to go to, and you think, "Oh, well, it's downtown, or it's far away, or I don't know if I can manage it," and you think, "Oh, I won't do it." But then we want that first thought to be, hold on, maybe I can make this work because it would be amazing for me. It's something I've always wanted to do.
Any last advice for moms?
Embrace your reality right now. I feel like a lot of us always wonder, what would life be like if? What if I did this? Or what if I didn't do this? Take what you have right now. Try to enhance the things you feel like you can work on.
Yeah.
And just use it up, right? Take every single drop out of your life and make it worth it. Make it exciting. Be grateful for every day. That was a lot of messages in one.
Yes. It goes back to one of our first tips for finding your Momjo, which was think back to even pre-kids, even when you were a little girl, and try and remember something that really made you excited, really made you happy. And choose one thing to then focus on. So whether it be start a new hobby, go back to painting, reading a book, something that really brought you joy way back when, but you've kind of put it aside, choose that one thing and go out and do it and commit to it and then do it.
And that's immediately going to elevate your life,
Totally.
right? And your level of joy.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Okay, okay, ladies. So before I let you go, can you please tell people where they can connect with you, talk about your social media channels, all of that?
Sure. So we are all over social media. We have a Facebook page. You can find us at Finding Momjo. We have the same thing for Instagram at Finding Momjo. We have a YouTube channel where we put up all of our videos.
Yeah.
So if you just need to binge watch something that's a little ridiculous and funny and hopefully inspiring, you just head over to youtube.com/Momjo.
Or you could just search Momjo in the search bar of YouTube. You can also find us on Twitter. We're there. And we have our website, momjo.ca.
Right. We always forget about our website.
Right. Our website, momjo.ca. And really, we are every Wednesday night without fail, 9:15 p.m. Eastern Time. We are live on Facebook and on Instagram. And so we're always like talking about not necessarily children-related stuff. It's more mummy stuff, girl talk, hot topics. Sometimes we have guests. We always have a treat of the week, something that we found during that week that we're going to give away to some lucky viewer. Right. So yeah, join us on Momjo Live every Wednesday night, 9:15 p.m.
And every Monday we drop a Momjo Monday, right?
Video.
Which are 5-minute, 4-minute videos about a specific subject.
Exactly.
We're
Always out and about. Just check us out on Facebook and Instagram. You won't miss it.
Always on the go.
All right. Thank you so much. And I will make sure to link to all of your social media handles in the show notes below. All right, ladies. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having us. And what a journey you're on. It's very inspirational. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I just want to say that I acknowledge so much the fact that you are showing up to your lives and as women, as wives and mothers, and that you are on the journey to find your own Momjo.
That's it.
Thank you.
You too. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Thank you for listening to the Health Begins with Mom show. I love hearing from you, so please post your comments and questions over at healthbeginswithmom.com/podcast. If you love the show, please share it on social media and in your real life with other moms who might enjoy this content. And if you have a burning question or topic you'd like me to hit on the show, just drop me a line at dorit@healthbeginswithmom.com. And if you love this show and really want to support it, please go to iTunes, write a review, and subscribe. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll catch you next time. Much love and many blessings.